Hey guys, let's get more news about Warriors, but first, don't forget to subscribe and leave your like. Warriors urged to trade young star for Lauri Markkanen in win-win-win move. The Golden State Warriors have just 8 days remaining to land Lauri Markkanen in a trade from the Utah Jazz, which could prove a big win for the Dubs in the long run. Greg Swartz of Bleacher Report on Sunday, July 28, listed rising Golden State star Jonathan Kaminga as among 5 young NBA players who need a trade out of their current situations. Swartz called a deal with the Jazz for Markkanen that includes Kaminga a win-win-win agreement for the involved parties. Sending Kaminga as part of a trade package to the Utah Jazz for Markkanen would be a win-win-win for the Warriors, Jazz, and Kaminga, as he'd be free to take on a larger offensive role and pursue a max contract as a restricted free agent in 2025, Swartz wrote. With the fit and timeline a little off here and the Warriors needing someone who can be a true number 2 offensive option now, a Kaminga trade makes a lot of sense before Golden State makes a big financial commitment. Markkanen would theoretically also win by getting out of a losing situation for the next few years in Utah, either after signing a max extension worth $209 million with the Jazz and then heading to the Bay Area via a trade, or by playing with Stephen Curry for a season before negotiating a long-term deal with Golden State or elsewhere. While the Warriors and Jazz have engaged in trade discussions since at least mid-July, the two sides can't agree on a price, according to a report from Shams Charania of The Athletic. Utah is apparently interested in acquiring Kaminga as part of the deal, however, which is something that should interest the Warriors intently considering he is already extension eligible for a 5-year deal that could pay him a max of $224 million. However, the Jazz also want more than the Dubs are currently willing to offer, namely second-year shooting guard Brandon Podziemski. The Golden State Warriors have been the most engaged team for Markkanen in recent weeks. As league sources tell The Athletic, they have discussed a proposal around Moses Moody, multiple first-round picks, multiple pick swaps and multiple second-round picks, Charania wrote on July 15. The Jazz, however, have asked for the bulk of young talent and capital the Warriors possess, including Moody, Jonathan Kaminga and Brandon Podziemski, along with picks, which has been a non-starter thus far for Golden State, league sources said. After moving on from Klay Thompson, big money for Markkanen is something the Warriors can swing assuming they don't also have to pay out Kaminga. As such, Kaminga makes far more sense as the centerpiece of a Markkanen deal, alongside multiple first-round picks and first-round swaps, than Podziemski, who still has 3 years remaining on his $16.2 million rookie deal. Markkanen is extension eligible in Utah on August 6, which is exactly 6 months before the NBA's February 6 trade deadline. As such, the Jazz must extend Markkanen precisely on the 6th or he will not be trade eligible ahead of the 2025 deadline, which means he would have to remain in Utah for at least the next full year based on league rules. The Jazz can trade Markkanen before that, as he has 1 season remaining on his 4-year, $67.5 million contract that pays him just north of $18 million in 2024-25. Markkanen is probably a more valuable trade chip after an extension, even a pricey one, because he will then be locked into a deal for 5 years. Golden State, however, may be less concerned about that considering its remaining championship window with Curry entering his age 36 season. The Warriors have had a good offseason by almost any measure with the additions of DeAnthony Melton, Buddy Hield and Kyle Anderson, but they need another star alongside Curry to have any real shot to win a top-heavy and competitive Western Conference. Because of that, Markkanen would have the majority of the leverage in contract negotiations with Golden State, as the team could not afford to go all in for Markkanen now and lose him after just 1 year. Jazz send Markkanen to Warriors, Kings get Kaminga in 3-team mock trade. After being linked to Utah Jazz forward Lauri Markkanen for weeks, the Sacramento Kings pivoted to DeMar DeRozan to acquire another star to put next to De'Aaron Fox and Domantas Sabonis. Despite not being in the market for Markkanen, Bleacher Report's Eric Pincus believes the Kings can help facilitate a deal to get the Utah star to Sacramento's division rival. Pincus crafted a three-team mock trade that sends Markkanen to the Golden State Warriors. Sacramento Kings receive, Jonathan Kaminga. Golden State Warriors receive, Lauri Markkanen. Utah Jazz receive, Moses Moody. Kevin Looney. Gue Santos. Kevin Huerter. Colby Jones. 2025 first-round pick, via GSW, top 5 protected, 2026 second-round pick, via GSW, 2027 first-round pick swap, via GSW, top 5 protected, 2028 first-round pick, via SAC, 2030 first-round pick swap, via SAC, in Pincus' hypothetical deal, the Kings give up Kevin Huerter, Colby Jones, a future first-rounder, and a first-round pick swap in exchange for Warriors forward Jonathan Kaminga. It is well known that the Kings need wing depth, and Sacramento has been shopping Huerter since last year's trade deadline. If the Kings had the opportunity to trade Huerter for a talented, young forward like Kaminga, it would be a no-brainer. The downside for Sacramento is the intangibles of this deal. Giving up Huerter, a future first, a pick swap, and even talented rising sophomore Colby Jones is not the end of the world, but there are a couple of reasons why the Kings would not want to do this. On Sacramento's side, Kaminga is entering the final year of his rookie contract and has yet to sign an extension. The Kings would have to give the 21-year-old a massive payday, especially coming off his breakout season, averaging 16.1 points and 4.8 rebounds per game with 52.9/32.1/74.6 shooting splits. On Golden State's side, the Kings have no reason to help the Warriors acquire a star like Markkanen. Pairing Markkanen with Stephen Curry would automatically reload their steady decline, putting the former dynasty back on track. If this hypothetical trade came to life, on one hand, the Kings would be upgrading their defense and getting a stud to bolster their frontcourt, but on the other hand, they would be helping their NorCal rival. Kevin Durant absolutely cooks Keyshawn Johnson after viral Warriors comments. Kevin Durant, the keyboard warrior, is calling everyone out on their BS, even when he's mid-Olympics. This time, he has taken aim at former Pro Bowl wide receiver Keyshawn Johnson for what he said about Durant and the Warriors. If I put Paul Pierce on the Golden State Warriors with Klay Thompson and Draymond Green and Steph Curry, you don't think he could do the same? St. Johnson said on Undisputed during a discussion about Durant and LeBron's performances for Team USA against Serbia. Durant didn't take this comment lightly, and he referenced Johnson's time as the first pick in the 1996 NFL Draft. If the Jets would have took Jonathan Ogden, Marvin Harrison, Ray Lewis, or Eddie George #1, they would have been better off. I hate hypotheticals, Durant wrote on X. The Jets selected Johnson as the #1 pick back in 1996, but in doing so, bypassed multiple future Hall of Famers including Jonathan Ogden, Marvin Harrison, Ray Lewis, Brian Dawkins, Terrell Owens, and Zach Thomas. After the New York Jets selected Johnson out of USC, Ogden, Harrison, and Lewis went 4th, 19th, and 26th. People easily forget how badly Golden State needed KD, and once he got there, what a truly lethal team they were. In 2016, the Dubs came back from a 3-1 deficit in the Western Conference Finals against Durant himself on OKC, but blew the same lead to the Cavaliers in the NBA Finals. Then came the infamous parking lot texts Draymond Green sent to Kevin Durant after the crushing loss to Cleveland. With KD on their side, the Warriors won 2 back-to-back championships in 2017 and 2018. Then, in the 2019 playoffs when Durant tore his Achilles, the team fell into a 3-1 hole to the Raptors in the finals and couldn't dig themselves out without KD. And you fan? What do you think of the situation of Kevin Durant? Leave your opinion in the comments.